Hello, hello. Welcome back to the weekly Monday Motivation Podcast, No More Excuses. I am your host, Sandy Ballard, the Badass Business Coach. And yes, thank you for listening. Thanks for sharing the podcast with others on your social media networks. And thanks for just being here and investing in you. And well, last week, how exciting! The podcast guest, Cody Butler, and the really amazing marketing mentor. He has a great marketing mind, and he shared 3 tips about mindset, communication, and advertising. And the bonus, what people do, and you hear all this all the time, that the successful people take action before they're ready. Because yes, as he said, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're ready and you're ready to invest in you and invest in your success, you've got to take action, right? That's what this is all about. No more excuses. And COVID has been one giant damn excuse, hasn't it? It's been a reason more than an excuse. I do give points for reasons. And this panDAMNIT, it's driving me batshit crazy, as I'm sure it has all of you. And, I've talked about, along the lines with what Cody mentioned last time, getting your mind right. I've talked a lot about that during this pandemic. And Chandra, she was a guest back in May. She talked about, she gave her expertise in decluttering your mind. And, this, like I said, COVID has hugely affected all of us, screwing with our mindset, our energy, and our mojo. And, it's taking a lot to get going and to make these adjustments. Again, I've mentioned there's a lot of great stuff that's come from this pandemic, but, I was on a call last week catching up with a client, and it's just like, what the hell? And one of the other gentlemen on the call is on the advisory board, and he's a CPA. And I asked him how his year is going, and he's like, it sucks because, he didn't catch a break. Now he can take a nap before the next deadline, right? But, it's been crazy. And as Cody Butler last week said, get your mind right, and then get your communication right. So let's talk more about communication, because I have worked with my clients as they have closed and reemerged, and obviously the communication from the government, local, state, wherever, big time, it's affecting the communication with your own company. And I've worked with my clients on as they've reopened. And this is a great time to review internal, external, and just communication in general. How you communicate with your staff and clients, or if you don't have that, just how you communicate in general out to your clients. But it's how you communicate in general, social media and all that. It's just also as important, if you do have staff, to make sure your message, the company's message, is consistent to customers, clients, members, prospects, right? So how has your communication changed, or has it? And yes, again, like I said, another good thing, this is given a time for all of us to review our communication, revamp our communication style, revamp our words. And if nothing else, review. If you have staff, volunteers, business partners, take time to listen to them. Are they saying to your customers or prospects or volunteers or business partners, depending on who you are, because we have some nonprofits that listen, what are they saying to to your members and to people in the general public? I'm swinging my arms around and my bracelet's getting a little crazy, so I apologize if you hear that. But take time to step back and listen. Not like you're micromanaging or creeping on them, but just, what are they saying? And a good thing is ask people questions. See what their answers are. Do they align with yours? Do they even have the answers? Meaning, if it's staff or volunteers or something like that, ask them like you were a customer or a client. And how are they answering? That's a great way to identify and determine if your communication needs revamped, or if you need to do something to get on the same page. And, sometimes you think what's in your head is clearly explained on your website or marketing materials, social media, or even in your elevator pitch. And sometimes, the majority of the time, sometimes it's not, because you have to remember you're not talking to yourself. For example, a client of mine thought her website explained her membership levels perfectly. And we were in one of my monthly women's groups, and how the membership her membership was growing. So she thought things were fine, but she was also talking to someone else in the group who had not really signed on yet and was really unsure. And she stepped up and said, I'm confused about what the different levels are. All right. And that was huge. She was like, what? It says this is this. Well, the memberships were explained, the different levels were explained on the printed marketing materials, but not necessarily side by side. So example, if you go to sign up for a membership, which we'll have some special announcements soon for you, but you want to see what does this level include and not include, right? I always go to the bottom and see what it doesn't include and go up. And on the website, it just was on different pages. It was a huge aha moment because she didn't realize it. The people she was getting to sign on were because she was talking to them and she was sharing her energy and excitement and passion and all that this organization can do for the members. But if you were just coming across the website, it was harder to understand. So again, a huge aha moment, a very wonderful moment, and I'm very excited that happened, well, in my group, but I'm just excited that it happened and she could fix it. And membership has already started increasing again, and that was not too long ago. But it was an easy fix, and I'm excited for them both. And, it's happened to me. I've had people say, I'm not really sure what this group is about. I'm not understanding. And I was like, well, what do you mean? So when I explain it, because I'm saying what's in my head, but how I'm writing it for the general person to come in and see what this group or event or anything is about, you've got to make sure you're communicating properly, that your communication is in check, right? So, and again, sometimes it's easier for someone else to do it, to sell, quote unquote, sell for you, explain what you do. A lot of times I have my man Candy explain what I do as a coach because he's been a client. He is a client. He can share his experience. So that's why telling stories can sometimes help so much more. And I had two different women, two completely different times, come to me about my Bitches and Booze, my women's event, and say, this is where your personal and professional self meet. I'm like, perfect. So people get that versus me sometimes trying to communicate it how it's in my head. And like a client and when people buy because you're explaining it better, because they trust you. But you may not always have that relationship, right? And you may not always have the opportunity to quote unquote sell in person or, Zoom, phone, and share that excitement. So you've got to really, as Cody said, get your communication right, get it, review it, look at it again, internally, externally, social media, all that, right? And again, this week, this challenge, I'm going to ask you for input. And I'm going to challenge you to do a survey or in an email, poll, social media maybe. Verbally ask people to explain what you do, your product or service, all right? And get feedback. Ask a question. Again, try to get an answer and see if it's the same way you would explain it. Because I want to help you get your communication in check this week. And it can be, even if you don't own your own business, how are you communicating about the company you work for, right? Making sure you aren't just taking your spin on it. Yeah, you have to put your personality into it, but making sure your communication is in check. And again, if you need to hire a professional, because sometimes that's the best way, let me know, because Jill Bode, she is your PR chick, and she has helped me tremendously over the, I don't even know, 20 some years that we've known each other. Message me or look up Jill Bode, Bode, or message me. I'll send you her information. I believe it's yourprchick, CHICK, @gmail.com. Reach out to her. She's amazing. She will work with you on every part of communication. All right. And again, I want to hear you. I want you to post here or email me, sballard@growingforward.biz, what you found out. Ask one simple question like, what is it that we do here? Start with that. What is it that we do here? Or what's your favorite part about this company or about what I do? All right. And hey, feel free to tell me what you think I do. All right. Have a great week. I look forward to hearing from you. Cheers.